Hello everyone and welcome back to DannyBTrainz. So, I am getting back to an AI inspired route. No, AI is not helping me build this route, but rather AI will develop an image for me to base my route on. We've been having a lot of fun on the 1 square at a time build challenge, where I have been completing a route just based on whatever I think looks good. And that is what I've been building for a Tennessee, Kentucky area where I'm from. Just a free-form fantasy route that, just what I think looks good. However, before we moved on to that route, we were working on an AI-inspired route based in rural Tennessee, Kentucky, Georgia, states like that. But we ran into an issue. My computer crashed and had to be completely reset. Well, computer's back, it's going good as normal, it's great, everything's fine. But, unfortunately, we lost that AI-inspired route, and it was sad. We only got 4 episodes into that series. So, I wanted to bring the series back, but this time, we're not going to be building in an area based in where I'm from, because I think we're having a lot of fun doing that in 1 square at a time. So, make sure you are checking out 1 square at a time if you like to see a route built around states like that. But, a state that I very much enjoyed going to last year and getting to Railfan in probably the most picturesque scenery that I've ever filmed Trainz in was Montana, specifically around the area of Trout Creek, Montana, along the BNSF MRL 4th subdivision. So, let's build something similar using AI. So I'd like to use AI to come up with a new fantasy route based on what AI thinks this area should look like. So, that being said, let's get into our AI of choice. Now we're going to be using Twitter's Grok system for this. I've personally grown to think that Grok has grown pretty darn good at what they do. I mean, it's, in terms of AI, I know some people don't like AI. It's going to take over the world, but I'm having fun with it, and this is literally just for fun. We're having it make a picture, and then I'm getting to get it a Trainz and see if I can duplicate it to the best of my ability. So let's have some fun with this. I'm going to tell Grok, and now it's set up where it can show me 4 images, just like Bing used to do. So I'm going to tell Grok, show me a BNSF grain train traveling along a route in the rural mountainous area of Plains, Montana, along a river with larch trees in the mountains, and it is fall. Specifically, it's around the middle of October. And let's see what can Grok's AI system give us. Here we go, they are loading in. What has Grok made for us? Ooh, I can already tell there's a lot more realistic looking details of Grok compared to what we were seeing before with the old Bing system. Let's check out picture 1. Yeah, this area does look fairly similar to how Plains did. They're definitely plains, some dry grass. So we've kind of got like a yellow grass here alongside here, a little creek running alongside the tracks. It's kind of 2 tracks, but also 1 track at the same time. That's interesting. Do got a good river going here. Kind of looks like maybe some cow pastures. Maybe there's some cows or bushes or something like that out in there. And then all of a sudden it gets into the mountains of the larch trees. I do like that. That's not a bad option, number 1. Option 2 feels pretty fun here. It's like you got the tracks and almost like a little dirt path, not really even like a road, but just a little dirt path. It's like some kind of guardrail of some kind. A little bit of gravel here, some dry grass. large trees going up this hill, and then the mountains pretty much run right along here. It kind of looks like the train tracks would go either into a tunnel, or maybe it goes out and it curves around. With the river going here, some plains here, mountains all further back here. So kind of say like the tracks go up through here, and then maybe around the corner there, and then keeps going up the river up for that mountain there. So this would be a good one for some depth on the route initially. This is definitely more of a flat level one. Little river here, single track main, some grassy plains here, large trees, mountains on each side. Good amount of depth. Just kind of looks like the train goes straight through that way though. Not really clear where the tracks would go on this one. Option 4 looks like the tracks come with the river, making a sweeping curve right through here. Little mud banks here on the river, some rocks, a few patches of grass, little islands here where the river's low. It's hard to tell if this is river over here, or if it's more just the plains, but kind of looks like the plains would spread out a little bit here. I think that's interesting, and then it goes into the mountains, so it's kind of like the train comes around through here, but then there's like plains off to the left side there. That's interesting here, so I gotta make up my mind. Alright, so we have 4 great options that Grok has given us. We're not gonna ask it to do many more. We're only gonna stick to 4. That's the challenge of this. We only get 4 choices to choose from here, so it's a tough choice here. I gotta decide which one I think is gonna be best to build in Trainz. Well, after a little careful debate and discussion, I think option 1 seems to be one that I think I can most enjoy. I need to go in and see if I can find some assets for this, but overall I think we can do this. I need to find some more dry looking grass assets, maybe some dry bushes, some seasonal assets, but overall I think we can do this. The biggest thing is going to be getting the dry yellowy grass look, and figuring out the river and the mountains with the large trees. I think we can do that too. Looks like we have some bushes, some slight trees, just gonna sprinkle some things in here in these fields, but overall, I think we can do this. So with that being said, we are set up to go. Let's get in to Trainz 22 and see if we can make this work. Here's episode 1 of the revamped AI build series in Montana in fall. And here we are, folks. Welcome back to a new revamped edition of the AI inspired route to be built here on Trainz 22. So as we've been progressing on 1 square at a time, which is my area that's going to be based in the area of around Tennessee, Georgia, Kentucky, where I live at, I've been having fun doing that, but I have missed the challenge of producing a route inspired by AI, and I've been seeing some people who have been finding that AI route series for the first time here more recently, and well, they're kind of like, hey, when are you going to do more on this? I was like, well, unfortunately, we lost the route to that one, so wanted to make a new one, but I didn't want to do the same area we were doing, because I'm kind of doing that now in 1 square at a time. So instead, I decided I wanted to do this series, based in an area that I have been in more recent months, and that was Montana. Specifically, I saw Montana in the fall, October time, and I wanted to duplicate how beautiful that part of the country looked. So that's what I chose as my inspiration for this one, and we're gonna have a lot of fun with this. Right now we're just getting the track placed down, and that's always the first part. We know by the picture that we got that this is supposed to be along a river, so we're trying our best to kind of go a little winding with the track here, because it needs to kind of work along with the river. And so that's what we're doing here, and I will let this play out and we'll keep talking a little bit as it continues. So when it comes to this one, texturing was something I was trying to play with, perhaps too much. As we progress, we'll figure out some some textures that probably work just a little bit better for what we're trying to achieve, the look we're trying to end up going for. But I just didn't know what exactly to do, so I was just trying to, before I ever actually got into the terrain part of this, I just wanted to go ahead and map out an area for the river just using textures, because we knew we'd have a lot of rock, mud, those kind of textures around this area. So that's basically all I was doing here. I was just laying down a bunch of random stuff. We later found some stuff that worked better, and perhaps we used too much texture in certain places, but so really here I probably waste a little too much time texturing when I can probably go a little bit simpler for the later parts of this series when it comes to the riverbed here. But you know, for now, just enjoy the process of what was going through at the start of this. Once I kind of got to a point where I was a little happier, at least, I was going through here and just starting to raise up the area around the river just a little bit. And as you can see, I hadn't turned off the water effect layer yet. I did later take care of that and was able to do the water manually. For the time being in this first part of it, though, I was just dealing with the water effect as it was. So I wasn't letting it bother me too bad here. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and just lower down, you know, the space for the river. So I kept that water layer on just enough for me to, you know, just see it while I was doing this part of it. I don't like the standard water effect that comes like immediately when you open up a new route. It's just too blue. You wouldn't see a river looking this blue. You really need to be able to change the way that the water looks. So I prefer just adding it in manually and being able to change the color effects on it. It just comes out looking better, in my opinion, that way. But I did find, these dried grass textures, and I was pretty happy with the way this was looking. So I use this as kind of like the biggest base of this, and I also decided I needed to expand out, just a few more squares here, because it was going to be necessary for what I was needing to achieve with mountains and stuff in this area. So overall, pretty happy to find this texture. And again, I spent way too much time texturing around that river and track area. I will not do that way in the future. I think I've managed to find a few textures that seem to work better for what we're trying to achieve with this river area. So we're going to be following those principles moving forward on this. But in the meantime, though, we are getting our area prepped to produce mountains and other things that are going to be on this side. So this is a side, the side we're working on now. This is a side where we can be entirely, well not now, we're back on the other side. The area we're going to be working on first is the side where it is not seen from that AI image. So this would be what our back is turned to. So this is an area we can't see in the picture we created. So this is where we get creative liberty to add in whatever we want to be on that other side of the train tracks. So I'm having a little bit of fun here and producing kind of an area similar to what I drove through in Montana. There was a stretch where you had some plains going through there, but then there was also some mountains, and the road would go up, but it would go up away from the train track. So that's kind of the end result I'm trying to achieve here. These embankments kind of gave me some issues. You're gonna notice that throughout this build. But yeah, so here I was just kind of working on just a few hills and stuff like that, just kind of along close to the tracks where it kind of separates from the river just a little bit here, lowering things just a little bit. Gosh, seeing this in its early build compared to what I know it looks like now, it just bothers me that I spent way too much time basically wasted on texturing the way I did, because this looks bad compared to how I didn't get finished up looking. And I will say, you're going to see this later on, because we have so many plains that are going to be part of this one. Yeah, we got a lot of mountains too, but we have a lot of more plains than compared to other routes that I've done in the past. I didn't want to just, I start off doing a lot of grass splines, but I realized this is not giving me the look that I want. This is not, and it's just wasting a lot of time placing splines. I made myself learn grass textures or turf effects in Trainz. I hadn't really done anything with that. I've played plenty of routes where I had that. I never knew how you actually did that. I finally figured it out, and that's a game changer when it comes to building routes like this. And I probably still need to clean it up a little bit, but I'm pretty happy with what we've gotten now. And I can't wait till we get to that part. You guys can see how this area is going to be looking in the end once it gets all the grass and everything else here. So And so yeah, we are putting the mountains in here, and this is an area that, it's gonna have mountains, it's gonna have a road, it's gonna have all kinds of stuff here. So we wanted to go ahead and get the back of those mountains and everything else started here. The road's placed down, creating mountains. I hate it so much, but you gotta do it. It just takes so long though to get a good looking mountain, and having to just smooth it all out and make it look good. It's so tedious, it takes so long, but I mean it's a necessary evil, and I enjoy the way this turned out. I did want to put in a backdrop though, of some snow-capped peaks that would kind of be implied either way behind the mountains that you see in the foreground. That's something that I saw when I was in Montana. we drove around a few places, and you would see off in the distance very, very, very tall mountain peaks that had snow capped on top of them. And we're gonna kind of get into some snowy mountain peaks too, even in this first build. Depending on what direction things go, we may actually end up having a snow scene or two in this route. This is fall in Montana. Montana's a different climate compared to where I'm from, and there are some parts of it that they're gonna see some snow very, very early in the year. And we might actually get into a few places that have some snow in them, so it's gonna be a lot of fun. The way this road was kind of cutting through the mountain like that, I had to put a few textures down of some dirt and stuff, because it's kind of been cut into the land here a little bit. This is always tricky here, getting the road smoothed out, and don't just have these rough hills here. You really need to make this transition well to the tracks below, and it takes a lot of back and forth and effort here, but in the end, it's a result that you can be proud of and be happy with. And as you can see from here, I had to get out of textured mode and get into the grid, because in my opinion, if you really want to have smooth hill transitions going down from a road to the tracks like this, you really can't see it good enough in this view, in texture view. You need to get into the grid view in order to see that properly. So if you are ever wondering, how do I get, good transition hills and stuff, you got to go into the grid mode. That's just all that there is to it. You got to get into the grid mode. That's the only way that you're going to be able to properly see how it needs to line up. So once you do that, it's going to be a whole lot better once you get in to the rest of your textured view. Right here, we continue to go ahead and transition the roadside a little bit. Once we're back in this view, again, it helps us here. We don't want these harsh cutouts all the way through the mountain like this. We do want to look a little bit more natural here. So we're just smoothing this out a little bit and just allowing our route to just look a little bit nicer through here. at that point, I think I'd pretty much gotten the hillsides over there looking exactly the way I wanted them to. And so from this point, again, we got rid of that water effect layer, and we're adding in our water here. Again, comes out way too blue, and we're gonna need to play around with the color effects on that and get this looking how I like it. And also playing around with some of the sky and ripple effects of the water. I kind of like more of a ripply look for a river like this, but this can be tricky here. You don't want to look purple, you don't want to look red, you don't want to look green. A lot of different things that you got to do to this, and I still don't know if I got it perfect per se, but it works in the end of how things look, so I'm pretty okay with it for now. Back over here, we've got more mountainside to do. We got the road and track at least smoothed in, but we need to do a lot more of the mountain creation here, so we're gonna get back into that for a little bit. And again, that's time tedious, so I'm not much to say throughout this part of it, so just enjoy the music while this is going on. And now that we got the mountains looking good here, I want to add just something a little bit more here. Again, this is a side where we can be creative here, so I'm adding in a little dirt road that goes along through here. We're going to just say this belongs to BNSF. This is a BNSF access road they've got alongside the tracks here, and it just comes down from that highway right there. And so yeah, this is something that, you know, we just want to have, because, you know, we're about to go, you know, kind of away from the highway here, but it's going to go along the river. So we just want to have a road that BNSF maintenance of way crews can come through here and do whatever they need to. Oh, here we go. This is where I started doing too much, because I was bothered by just a few places with the embankment spline here, but I realized the more that I changed, the more I was messing up everything else, and I was like, no, we're gonna end up control Zing all this. I think we end up doing this a second time. It just, something happened. I don't know what it was, but something happened and seemed to mess up just a little bit. I don't know. But then once we had everything, once we had all the terrain figured out, I was adding in some guardrails of places I felt would need a guardrail, just based on how the terrain is everywhere else right around this. And also textured a few places that looked like it needed to be rocked here a little bit. But this area here, I kind of started thinking about this part just a little bit more. And because of what I've decided here, this is a little access road for BNSF. I'm going to end up probably texturing that area a little bit more and just kind of make that area something else here. Here we go. I talked about this earlier. This is where I was struggling with grass splines to figure out what I liked best. We do put down a good amount of grass splines for here, and we do some other things along the river. I mean, I guess you could do this, But to achieve that tall, dry grass that you would see out in an area like this, you're gonna need to learn turf effects, because it's gonna look a lot better than how this does. And I feel like I need to go clean it up some more, and I might do that off camera. But just doing grass blinds here, it's not gonna look as good as using turf effects. So just a little, advice for me when it comes to building a route like this. Learn turf effects. It's going to save you some time, and it's going to probably put together a better looking product in the end. And plus, you won't be eating up as much memory by placing a bunch of splines down either. I love working with splines, don't get me wrong, and I love doing it in my 1 square at a time build. It looks a lot better that way. But when it comes to this one, we're going to be using a lot more turf effects, especially now that I've done it moving forward. So this was something fun. I randomly found this, and I was like, you know what? I kind of like the idea of doing a random drainage ditch that goes down to the river. So that's what we did here. We just kind of made that extend and disappear into the river. Put a little culvert here, and we can just say this is just a pipe that comes out of the mountain from something, and it just comes out right there, and doesn't have to have a point. It's just there, and it looks nice. It's something different along the tracks. So I enjoyed it. I liked how it come out. I wanted to see about putting some water in there, but I realized, I can't do that. It's going to mess with things a little bit more there. So we abandoned that idea real fast. From this point, though, we are still looking to figure out what grass can look good for here. None of these grass blinds were really looking good. It just wasn't giving me the effect that I was looking for, and I wasn't happy with it. So I started realizing, I'm putting down something. I kind of settled for something here at this point. We're just mixing some things in here just to make it look a little bit nicer. I was quickly realizing, I've got to learn turf effects. I've just got to figure this out. So we tried it with the splines. We made something, but I think in the end, the turf effects is definitely the way to go with this. And right here, again, I talked earlier that I think I did not like the way the textures really looked with a lot of this. I used way too much when I was originally doing this. So I went back and just used that main dry grass effect that I found and just covered up a lot of this area and blended it in a little bit better. This right here was a grass blind that I had found I kind of liked, but at the same time, I'm also realizing it's barely showing up. It just kind of looks more like little hairs, if you will. This is more of a short grass, but because really we need more of a tall grass. We need that tall, dry. This is getting cold. The grass is dead basically. It works. Don't get me wrong. But it is so hard to see. I had to go to grid mode just to be able to see it better. So it worked for a little bit until I decided it doesn't work, and yeah, so that's how that went. We ended up using something better though later on. And here we go. This is probably one of the most stressful and time-consuming parts of this. I need to figure out how to do the trees on this mountain. I tried using actual, what I found was larch trees and other trees like that would be, you'd actually see there. But they just didn't look great. They just didn't look great. That's the crazy part. What larch trees are available on the download station, they look so bad once you get them all placed down. And even though they should be 2D and not eating up a ton of memory, they do. They just do. So that was unfortunate, I found, and I just wasn't happy with the end result here. So we go through and we text strip a little area, we copy and paste a bunch down, we make a little area here, and then we go ahead and we start putting it out everywhere. And in the end, this feels like time wasted. And you can even see here, you see how like transparent they are at the top. I don't know why they are like that. They look so bad once they get, they just look so bad once they all get spread out like this. I just didn't understand why it was like that. I wanted it to work out because truly it is just more larch trees in these Montana mountains, but what larch trees are available, they just didn't look good, sadly. It's just so unfortunate to see how much effort I'm going through here now and placing all these down, because again, I wanted this to work, but it's gonna look so bad in the end. And also it's funny to see I put so many at the top of those mountain peaks when now they don't look like that, and you're gonna see why later on of what we end up actually doing to this. But I've used things that are more realistic than even the way these look, but these, again, I had those transparent tops on it. It looks so bad, and they actually ate up so much memory. And so here I just like copied the entire like objects on that side, and we do a mass delete of all of them because it just looks so bad. It looks so bad, and they ate up so much memory here. So I went to this other side over here, and I found new trees on the download station, and I wanted these to work, but I also wasn't happy with the way these look. These are more realistic looking large trees, but these are going to be very, very memory eating, and it made the route lag. And I've got a pretty good computer. If it's making my computer lag, then that's a problem. So we needed to end up not using this too. So enjoy yet another round of wasted time placing trees, because it took me a few tries to get it right and figure out how I want my trees to look on this route. back to textured view, I realized not only is it bad on the lag, it just didn't look good either. So once again, we went back to the drawing board and need to figure out, okay, how can we possibly make this work? So it takes some time. I kind of stepped away from the trees for a little bit. I retextured some of this area some, and decided, okay, we're gonna take a break here, and we go back to this area over here where we had that little access road for BNSF maintenance away people, and we're actually gonna gravel it up a little bit here, and we're gonna make this truly into an area that looks like, okay, somebody works here on something here. There's some kind of project happening here, and that's truly an area for the maintenance away people to go. Now here we go. We're getting into turf effects here, and we are figuring out what we want to do. I spent a good amount of time off screen in the content samples map page, figuring out what would look good and what I wanted to do. And we go into this now, and we start putting down what I think should make this area look very nice. And we're trying this out here, and we're putting down this longer grass. This truly looks more like what you would see in reality, and I was very happy with the way this looked in the end. Here we go again, me being stupid and playing around this spline and messing everything up and can't get it looking right, so we got Control Z again. Just, Danny, don't touch it. I'm sorry, it looks bad and sometimes when you look at it, but you gotta ignore it. Ugh. Back to the grass. Get the grass looking good. And side note, you'll see me figure it out. You don't have to do this way of doing it here where you're just squaring and placing. There is a way to put it down just using the same way you would do making hills and stuff. It's a whole lot faster, it's a whole lot easier, it'll save you a lot of headache. Please learn to do that, and it'll be a whole lot better when it comes to turf effects. That's something I wish I knew a little bit sooner, but yeah, once you figure that out, it's a whole lot better. And from this point, things start to get a little bit more fun in terms of how we can detail this area here. I downloaded a lot of stuff off screen in the download station that really helped this route a lot. We downloaded a lot of autumn forestry, shrubbery, and stuff like that, and figured out some better trees that kind of give me the color that I am looking for here. You know, you want some greens, you want some taller pine, aspen, stuff like that, but you also want that fall color to pop a little bit. And so every now and again, placing a few of these yellow aspens and birches down and some oranges, and this area starts to look a lot nicer. And you can utilize some of those large trees that we had earlier. You can sprinkle those in here and there, but also using trackside grass, using various things, shrubbery. We haven't put down the green shrubbery yet. Here it goes. adding that in between those fall bushes, man, this makes this place look a little bit more natural and a lot cleaner. And sprinkling in some random areas where there's shrubs and bushes and trees in the middle of the plain areas. I really love the way this turned out. We end up using this method quite a bit as we continue on here. I'm not going to talk too much every time that we do that, but man, this was a lot of fun. This was where I truly started to feel like, okay, we have life coming here now. This isn't just a bunch of grass and mountains and a river now. There is something here, something that defines this area now. There's something to it, and sprinkling in some more trees here and there. This is looking really good, and I'm very happy with the end result, especially. But doing that at this first area made me realize, okay, I think I'm finally starting to feel happy with the way this looks. And we did this before we worried about the trees that were up in the mountains. We were starting off doing that, and I think that was stressing me out too much. Getting this part figured out first helped me a lot more, and I'm very happy we took a moment to get away from the mountains and worry about stuff you're going to see as you're on the train in a little bit. So I like the way this turned out, and can't wait to let you guys see even more on this. So pretty much I think I'll shut up for a while and just let y'all watch this part of it and listen to some music along the way. Back into this little area here, I put down a couple of objects there, the little caterpillar machines there, just to kind of touch up that area a little bit. And then back in, we still have a few more places I feel like we could use some of these trees and bush areas here. I'm really happy with the way this turned out. Even right now in this part of it, it looks so nice. It just looks like, okay, this is truly what Montana should look like. It should have some life in here. And I'm pretty satisfied with the way these little track set areas turned out. And here we go. Actually, we're getting into some of the snow area that we wanted to do, and start off with place down some rock area, but we're going to put down a lot more snow into it, and because we want this area to have some snow peaks here, make this area look proper here. So this is an area, it's mainly got a lot of rock underneath it, and then snow on top of it. And I wanted this to kind of look like it belonged with the the distant mountain peaks that you see there. So it's higher in elevation. It snowed some there, and it just takes, it's going to take a lot more for it to really melt off in that area. Back over to the other side of the river where we don't have anything yet. I wanted to figure out, okay, what can we put down and utilize as a template to make this mountain finally look good on that side. So I used a lot more pines and some groups and JVC 2D assets, and just put those down, used the textures, and I finally come up with a square that I think I find okay, and it doesn't eat up too much memory, it doesn't lag my game, and I like the way this turned out, and I can utilize this as the background foliage, and I'm overall pretty happy with it. And yeah, so mountain finally is coming together exactly the way that I think it should be. And if you do enough in the foreground like we've been doing, it can make up for having to go less realistic off in the background, and it still looks good too. Place down a few of these fir trees up there in the snowy parts, because there is still some trees, but it's not as many because it usually stays colder up there. But yeah, I like the way this turned out, and so we put those down as much as we can, and then from this point we really just end up going back to doing more of what we had been doing in the foreground areas here, and just blending everything in here. So I think that's pretty much all you can say for now. Is this part just takes a while, so sit back and enjoy. this point, I think the side that we're actually on is done for the most part. It just needs a little bit more effort though to keep blending in these areas of where the forest meets, what you're actually going to see here. So it's just a lot of blending more or less at this point on this side of it, and we'll have a lot more to do over on the other side still. But at this point, I think you kind of get the gist. The main concern of what's around the tracks is done. At this point, it's all about just finishing up the detail of these mountains here. So we're really getting towards the end at this point, especially over here on this side of the river. And we're not worrying about things like power lines, stuff like that, because this is just a road. And I went back and I verified on the Google Maps Street Views of the areas that I drove through. A lot of roads didn't have power lines and things like that going alongside of them, so at least you couldn't see it from the map at least. So unlike a lot of places that I drive around here, you don't have power lines everywhere up in this part of the world, so, or at least this part of the country. So yeah, we're not going to worry about that too much either for now, because we don't really have any industrial towns or anything set up yet. It's just literally a road. Place a little deer down. But yeah, this is turning out nicely. Just got to continue to detail it in some more. Alright, and from here, it is time to work on the other side. I think the side of the tracks is as done as I can probably get it, and we are going to move on and take care of the mountains on this side. So it's been a lot of fun from this point, and this is going to be a little bit easier than the other side because we don't have the tracks to worry about working with, we don't have the road to worry about working with. We just have mountains on this side, so we're just gonna, take care of that. We're not gonna worry about snow on this side. This isn't an area that was impacted by the snow. So it's literally just gonna be mountains, with the same trees that we've done over on the other side. Just takes time to map it all out and get everything grown to the way it needs to look. So there's not much to say about this point. It's really just enjoy the music, and we'll see you right at the very end. Hope you've been enjoying this journey so far along episode 1 of the new AI-inspired route build right here in the Fall Mountains of Montana.
in the town on the hill where the apples grow, and the church bells ring every hour or so. I took a little walk just to see the ships coming in. The sun rose up right above the highway, black, blue, red, yellow, golden skyway. It's like the day that you jump into the wind. I can't go back down to that water again. These old muddy shoes keep on walking the streets. Someone's bride buying Egyptian sheets. The window display of some little store in town. And there's my reflection against the morning light. Hello, Mr. Ghost, Mr. Skeleton White. You better comb your hair, you better wipe that George clay off your brow. You better stand up straight, man, these people hardly recognize you now. Lord, carry me like a sailing ship, comfort me before I slip around the dark side of the moon. All this spinning around hurts my head. I just sit here lonesome for you. There's a million things I would rather do instead. I know it takes a lot to change a worried mind, and I know it takes a year to see the warm summertime. But I'm made of nails, man, made of tombstone and tall, tall trees. But the tombstone fades and the nails will rust. The tall oak trees, they all turn to dust. A little every day, it's so slow that you can't even see. I guess I'll try to find another thing to be. Lord, carry me like a sailing ship, comfort me before I slip around the dark side of the moon. All this spinning around hurts my head. I just sit here lonesome for you. There's a million things I would rather do instead. I just sit here lonesome for you. There's a million things I would rather do instead.
You weigh me down. You don't care, no one measures up to you. One day soon you'll taste that medicine of yours, and karma will hit you hard. Oh, it's about to blow up in your face. Hella, hella, yeah. Excuses causing bling won't mean a thing. Give me a break. You're hella, hella fake. Go back to being nothing. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Gotta do what you do. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Gotta do what you do. Late nights with sick buffets, that's you. Another smooth ride and a brand new chick. What a trick. Fireworks on a first date. Your act is getting old. Oh, it's about to blow up in your face. Hella, hella, yeah. Excuses causing bling won't mean a thing. Give me a break. You're hella, hella fake. Go back to being nothing. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Gotta do what you do. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Gotta do what you do. Oh, it's about to blow up in your face. Hella, hella, yeah. Excuses causing bling won't mean a thing. Give me a break. You're hella, hella fake. Go back to being nothing. Go back to being nothing. Oh. Go back to being nothing.
Some nights I'm having a hard time keeping my head above the water. Cold breath, I cannot stand up, too much weight on my shoulders. Messed up, I wanna stay together, but I need someone who's holding. And oh, I have someone who's holding when you call it. Like magic, you're lifting off the shade from my mood. I'm keeping it together for you. I'll go with you all the way to the moon. If you're keeping it together too. Insane, sometimes it feels like I'm just dancing on the border. Tether, without you I would be lost around the corners. Steady, but only as long as I get you there to hold me. And I got you there to hold me. Never stop calling like magic. You're lifting off the shade from my mood. I'm keeping it together for you. I'll go with you all the way to the moon. If you're keeping it together too.
And that will do it for episode 1 of the new AI-inspired route build as we model the fall mountains of Montana. I hope you enjoyed this one. I had a great time making phase 1 of this route, and I believe it offers us a lot of potential already for even more great picturesque scenes as we move on. If you have any suggestions for a new prompt to use in episode 2 or which direction you'd like to see us travel, please comment your prompts and suggestions down below. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to DannyBTrainz for more videos like this one in the future. If you've never had a chance to get out and see Montana, I recommend you'd make the trip. It is well worth it. And be sure to check out my real-life rail fanning adventure video I filmed there back in October of 2024. That trip definitely helped inspire my desire to model a similar landscape in Trainz, and I can't wait to do even more progress on this route. Until next time, this is Danny B. Thanks for watching, happy rail fanning, and I hope you have a great day. Bye guys.